Yo, what is up? It's Cowboy. It is 6:30. It's actually 6:31 in the morning, and we are live, and we're going to jump right into the markets here. Let me go ahead, do a screen share, and bring up the screens. All right. Let's go ahead. Sorry, I got something I need to get off the screen here. Don't worry, it's kid safe. I don't do weird stuff. And let me move this down. All right, so okay, sorry about the delay on that, folks. Here we are. Screens are live. I was kind of doing something else right before I hit the go live button and realized that I didn't have any of my screen zoomed in or anything else. I was doing some artistic direction, if you will. Artiste. I am the artiste. Okay, so let's see. We got ADA going. Yeah, Bitcoin's on a tear. Let me actually open up the live chat. Okay, so if you are watching, I think I got it fixed. I know somebody wanted to watch this on Rumble, and then yesterday I wanted to live stream, and they said they couldn't see it on Rumble, but now I believe I've got it on Rumble here. Yep, here it is. So if you are just having any trouble seeing this, of course, you wouldn't be able to tell me if you did, but if you're watching this after the fact, if you're watching this in the comments or something, let me know. Say, hey, I tried to watch this live. I couldn't see it live. But in the meantime, I think if you are watching this live, say I can get it on Rumble or on YouTube, definitely let me know. Right. So the reason I'm asking everybody to do all this is because I started using the Rumble streamer. And of course, that is going to be a little bit different than what I'm used to. Right. So I want to make sure it's coming through loud and clear. So yeah, we're definitely looking at an interesting time in the Bitcoin market, in the crypto market. Bitcoin did break upwards, and as I talked about in yesterday's live, or I should say yesterday's recorded video, I was in a short. You can call it a hedge, if you will, and due to all of that, basically, my spot bags are killing it. Can't can't complain on that. I did hedge short, and that got taken out. And and I've said this before, but my performance shorting Bitcoin is actually it's profitable in a bull market, but it is not as profitable as going long. And that's for obvious reasons, right? And I'm not just talking about amount of trades, because that's actually, that you're always going to get more trades going long in a bull market. That's just logic. I'm talking about percent, my hit rate, right? My hit rate going long and short generally is pretty equal on most on most assets across the board, right? Relatively equal. You're going to have some differences between, different assets and so on and so forth. But, given, let's see, okay, we got Lisa. Good. Hear me fine. All right, great. We got people on YouTube saying they hear me fine. I'm seeing some people on Rumble. I'm seeing that the numbers say people are there. So, but back to the subject matter. The hit rate on Bitcoin is tricky. There are a lot of what are called short squeezes in the bull market on Bitcoin. So going short on Bitcoin in the bull is just a dangerous thing to do, right? What happens is the market needs liquidity. In fact, I think I may just talk about that today. Let's look at this. Unless I get some questions, if I see, if anybody watching has some chart requests, please let me know what you want to see, right? In the meantime, I am just going to roll over to Bitcoin. And then I might do a class today on what a short squeeze is in the recorded class, because I know that, there are a lot of new traders in the market, and I do try to get some data out for new traders. But yeah, Bitcoin just mobbing up. I got it right now on the 3-hour chart, right? So we had this consolidation, and I did think it was going to break out, but my algo, and I must have missed this ping, is I was just using other metrics, right? I'll put on a trade and I'll walk away. If a trade lines up, that's what I do. And right now, I don't have this algorithm operating in a live environment, right? So this tab that you see right here, and that green tab is kind of hard to see. These two tabs right here, this tab, that tab, let me put arrows to it. That's what I consider right now to be my masterpiece algo that I've built. And for those who might be new, algo, indicator, that's all the same thing. There's a video in Algo Factory, just in the regular videos. It's called What is an Algorithm? And it dispels a lot of the mystery. Like people think an algorithm is like some magic thing and you got to have a supercomputer. And an algo is anything where you have certain conditions, and when they line up, you take certain actions. So, technically driving to the store is an algorithm, tying your shoes an algo. And indicators are built based on algorithms, right? And if you have an algorithm that like where the algorithm is designed to learn on its own, that's where you start to get into AI, right? And we have good inputs for AI. I could take my algo and plug it into AI, but there are reasons I do not do that right now. I may do it with a lesser algo, but the one here, I don't want any AI to like see this. Of course, technically, what do you call it? Technically, TradingView does have visibility. I have my algos locked so nobody sees the code. So I guess I'm trusting TradingView and I don't have any choice in the matter. But you can see how accurate my algo is in this, right? If I were just to simply go short when it says go short, look at a beautiful trade right here. If I just had kind of a regular stop right there, you're looking at about a 2-to-1. That's a win. And this is on Bitcoin on the 3-hour chart. So this is in January, Sunday, right? And then you have a long right here. And this is, if you just put your stop loss below the recent support, I mean, if you go into the future, this long is huge. I mean, that's like a 10-to-1 easy. If I had it, if I had done something like that. Now, of course, I have algorithmic exits. Like you can see where it says here, exit longs. So if I just simply obeyed the algorithmic exit, then I would have gotten a 2-to-1 easy, right? So anyway, that's that. And my algo actually pinged on this consolidation. It said to go long. In fact, it hasn't even said to get out of longs yet. Like for example, here, right before it went into a consolidation, the algo said to go long right here, but then it said to exit the longs like right here. It would have been a micro profit. Like fees would have been covered. It would have been a decent little trade, but I would not have made a whole lot. I would have gotten out before I got stopped out, right? That's the idea of having algorithmic exits. But then there were no shorts, but if there were shorts, it said to get out of shorts and go longs right at the same time. And so we have this long right here. And had I entered when, I wasn't watching the 3-hour for these. So had I been watching, we would have been in this is a 3-to-1 so far. So risking $1,000 to make 3,000, basically, is kind of what that's about. So the algo works beautifully, and I wasn't watching this time frame. So had I been watching it, I would have gotten out of my short that I was in, but I did not. So here we are, right? So at any rate, this is, just a nice breakout. And I did some targets yesterday on the live show, and I will do them again now. Right now, I'm going to look at this impulse right here. We're going to look at kind of a shorter term impulse and the 618 for this impulse, right? So what I'm doing is a Fibonacci extension, and we teach this over at Algo Factory. That's algofactory.tech. Okay, come check us out. And the impulse is from there to there. It's when price makes a strong move in a given direction. And then I apply this Fibonacci tool to it. And there are these extension numbers at the 272 and the 618 are the ones I prefer. So, a breakout on this would have been partial profit taken right here at about 55,775. And then the next profit is right below 60K. If I were to, use Fibonacci on this. Now, what I would do though, and again, I went over this briefly in the recorded show yesterday, less briefly than this though, so you might be able to get some more detail. But if I were to go to the monthly chart and look at a very high time frame, you would find that there is structure with which we must be concerned. And it's a little hard to see. I'm going to actually go on the daily chart for this. So give me a second to mark this out. And then excuse all these crazy panels. Look, everything you're seeing on here, these crazy panels, like this is just data, okay? So, I've been doing this a long time. Your algos don't have to look like that. It's not even really an algo. But in the past, going back to 2021, this is, back to the prior bull market, you'll notice that price was on the way down, right? Price had already peaked, was on the way down. And it came up, it tried to rally back up and then had a stiff rejection on the way down, right? And so that rally up is going to create some structure. And right above that structure is a lack of liquidity. And where there is a lack of liquidity, you will see rejections in the future. They tend to happen. Now, again, that rejection in this case might just be a short-term rejection, might not be a rejection at all. It might be a short squeeze, but there is like a lack of liquidity, and it's right below the 618, and it's right below 60,000. So if I were like in a long right now, I would be concerned. I'd be looking at, not concerned, but I would just be looking at 59,000 as a place to possibly take profit. Now, if price were to go ahead and break above that and start to approach the mid 60s or the low to mid 60,000 range, I could always get back in. Price tends to break up and pull back. And then with Bitcoin, what it really tends to do is it tends to kind of float for a while in an area, tends to consolidate and then make a move. But we always, there's always that chance that we're in the middle of what is called a bull trap. And so it might be that this move up is meant to trap the bulls. It's meant to get people interested in going long and buying and giving liquidity to people who are short. So, in this case, we would have to be kind of cautious and understand that might actually cause a move down, a strong move down. Now, if I were in a trade at this point, my stops would probably be at break even or better, even if this was a bull trap. Then of course price would go back down and I would just get out of the trade, right? With no pain involved. So that's how that would go. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take a look at X and make sure I'm broadcasting over there. I usually have a lot more people watching on X. No, yeah, I'm live on X. Interesting. All right, cool. Yeah, interesting. I usually have a lot more people on X watching, but I haven't been promoting X at all. So this probably should be. X is where, a lot of people are. Okay, so back to the charts here. So I do see either a move up past this kind of, area or a rejection back down, one of the two. Now we are coming up to the halving, and before the halvings in prior halving years, and there have only been 3, we have seen a rejection to the downside. We've seen a pullback in Bitcoin before the halving. That's happened every time. And the only thing about that, and I am of the opinion where I don't like this whole idea of this time will be different. That's not how I roll. So, I would kind of think like, okay, chances are there will be a pullback, right? But then again, I thought there would be a pullback right here. And there are only 3 examples of halvings, right? Only 3 historical examples of halvings. Let me send a quick message to my private group. Just okay. I just took profit on a short that I shared with my group last night, and had to share the update on that in the private group. So in the private group, I'll take trades and then I'll tell everybody about the trade as I'm taking it. And then I will tell people as I exit the trade, provided that I'm at the computer doing so. All right. So that's Bitcoin. It's going to reach the high 50s and it's going to make a decision. And neither decision would surprise me at this point. Bitcoin is in a different place than it was a few years ago. And anytime I'm like back testing and I'm trying to develop a statistical model, right? And anytime I go and I'm going to trade based on past data, I need a lot of data. I go back 200 trades ideally. Sometimes it's a little bit less than that, but going back 200 trades gives you a lot of data. Say, okay, well, out of 200 trades, this kind of trade works 72% of the time with this kind of risk reward. You have a profile of your trade and its success rate. And so what happens in that case is, how do I put this? The issue at hand is that we only have 3 halvings. It's not a very big sample size at all. So, if you don't have a big sample size, then your statistical model is weak. If you have 200 trades you can look back on and say, oh, well, this usually happens. Like, hey, that's 200 trades. And in my experience, that's good enough for, a statistical model that I can actually like deploy and be profitable. But like three trades, not so much. I can't look at three trades and go, oh yeah, I'm confident that this is probably going to happen this way. Like, it's just three. Back testing on three tests is not a good back test if you ask me. It's not in my experience. Maybe for you that's good. I'm not trying to tell people how to do their thing, but for me, not so much. And so that being the case, I would be remiss to say, well, it's not going to happen this halving. Oh, it's there. I mean, it happened the last three halvings. It's going to happen this halving. So to bank on a pullback, I mean, yes, the pullback. If you're banking on the pullback, then the rules are on your side. Like the history is on your side. If you think there will be a pullback, there have been pullbacks before the prior halvings, but there have only been three halvings. So all we would need is like three more halvings with no pullback, and all of a sudden that rule's gone. If you had 200 halvings and like the pullback happens 70% of the time, like a few flukes is not going to change your statistical model. You get what I'm saying? Let's talk about low sample size. All right. So that said, neither would surprise me, especially with all of the big money floating in. And you know what? We have all this big money that floated in from the institutions. Now, I've been telling people I think it's been there the whole time. In fact, I happen to know that certain institutions bought using dark pools so that they basically funded but didn't have to own these cryptos, especially Bitcoin. And that's been going on for years and years. So all that to say, like, but more money certainly has been flowing in. So on and so forth. And as that happens, I think there is a supply shock. And that supply shock, whether it happens now or in the next halving, could really change the rules. So it's, this is what everybody's been talking about. Oh, the institutional money. Well, it's here. And quite frankly, it's been here and it's been here for a while. So, I wouldn't rely too much on prior halvings. I wouldn't rely too much. I rely on them greatly, but not like I would something I've tested 200 times. You get it? So the probability is that there's going to be a pullback, but that probability is like not that strong. That's all. That's the whole point of this whole conversation. Let's move on. If you have a request, if you have like a chart that you want to see, go ahead and put it in the chat. Like if you want to see whatever. I want to move on to ADA. We haven't looked at ADA in a long time. Cardano, aka ADA. A lot of cryptos, ADA is no exception, are just basically following Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin goes up, the cryptos go up. I don't think there's been anything special that's happened with ADA. So I mean, not from a fundamental standpoint, I don't see a lot of people like putting a bunch of money into ADA. But I know that ADA holders are rabid. Like I've got people who are friends of mine there, and they treat ADA like it's Bitcoin, or they'll never sell. And so there is a very strong, at least in my experience, there's a strong community. Now I'm only basing that anecdotally. I don't have like all the data on whether or not people are holding ADA. I'm sure it's out there. I mean, it's on the blockchain, so blockchain data is of course available. But the point here is that I think ADA is a bit of a sleeper. And it peaked out. It went from, let me see, when everything broke out at the end of the year, like in December, it went from 42 cents and it went up to 67 cents. So you're looking at, what is that? The 75% gain or something like that, roughly. Not quite a double. And then it retraced back down to this consolidation, right? So this long consolidation here that you see through 2023, it actually came back down to those levels and didn't quite give an entry there, but just above there, retraced well past the 786. And I know Cool Cat over in the private group has been talking about his 786s. Be good. I don't know if I'm assuming he's joining today. I know he's going to do a Raging Ape. Commonly, this is a question in a private group. Be good. I'm during the public live lab. I might not see your questions unless you joined like on the YouTube or the Rumble and you ask questions there. I simply may not see them. But long story short, the gorilla, he's well today. For the public live lab, he's commonly talking to people overseas during that time. So, that's why he's not always in these shows. He does try to make every single one of the private live labs. He does those as much as he can. Let me see if he's seen the invite here. He hasn't even seen the invite yet, so hopefully he's well. I don't know. Maybe he's. I know the gorilla wasn't well, and then he said yesterday that he was well, but who knows? Maybe he woke up not feeling that great. So we'll give him a little pass if he can't make it today. He lost his voice like last week, so he's just having a hard time. All right, so back to the content here. I want to take a look at how I think ADA might move. Okay, I'm going to look at this impulse that started in Thursday, the 30th of November in 2023. But yeah, be good if you have questions during this show. Ask it in the YouTube. Otherwise, I simply may not see it. All right, so we got an extension. So look, I'll just briefly explain this again. And we teach all this stuff at algofactory.tech. It's not really that complex. It's actually a very simple concept, right? We have an impulse, and we put our fib tool on that impulse, and then the extensions give us our targets. Now, we do have to mind structure on those targets, but I do just go ahead and put these up there for confluence, right? Just so we know where the fibs are. Okay, the fibs that I think matter. I take a little drink of my coffee here. Now, if we go back, we'll notice here that there's some structure against which price bumped its head back in December, and that actually was relative to structure back in June of 2022. The next bit of structure on the way down, so we're talking about going back to 2022, early 2022, late 2021, and we're looking at structure where price had a hard time getting past. And there's basically, like, right here is an important area. Right here matters. Right here matters. But I'd say the important area is what I did, this top one. So those are areas I'd be looking at for ADA to stall out. And oops. There we go. So, looking at the fib, I would actually take targets at the structure rather than the fibs, right? I would move my fib targets down to those structures is what I would do. So like down to here. And then I would just go ahead and ignore this top one. I mean, I would, if I were longing ADA, those would be my targets right now. So I would take the structure that is below the Fibonacci points. And then I could do another Fibonacci extension right here on this minor move up. And this is assuming that price continues up. And you have your 618 right here, and then you have this structural target right below that. And then your 272 is right at the top of the prior move. So price could reject below this top, but if you are confident that price is going to continue, there are some short-term targets too. One could take target right here at 73 pretty confidently if one were to be so inclined. So there's that. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so that's ADA. I don't see any requests. I see a few people watching, but I don't see any requests. So if you're not, if you don't have any requests, I'm just going to go look through our usual suspects. I did put this trade out there yesterday in the main kind of public sphere. Now, this long on Solana will not do well if Bitcoin rejects to the downside. So if Bitcoin rejects to the downside, I would not be in this trade. But this is a trade that so far, I was like, okay, Bitcoin's going up, so Solana's probably going to go up, right? Like Solana was sideways as long as Bitcoin was sideways. That's kind of where the market is with a lot of coins right now. Okay. So that said, price, according to my calculations, will probably move up to this mid 140s area. And Bitcoin, I think, is going to have to be at least stable for that to happen, and bullish would be preferred. So again, how Bitcoin acts at 60,000 is going to have a lot to do with what's going on. So let me send a message out here. Just sending a quick text outwards. Okay. I'm going to send a quick message. Okay, good. Sending messages out, trying to see what's going on today, trying to see if the girl's going to join us. See if he's well, because he was well last night, so we'll see how it is. Last but not least, we'll take a look at AVAX. I think AVAX is the quiet winner. I think AVAX is a coin that a lot of people are not paying attention to because Solana's taken the spotlight. And then I'm going to do Caspa in the private group. I know everybody wants to see Caspa. I may actually record a video looking at Caspa because actually I'm very interested in that project. Proof of work, it's very fast, very efficient. It's I believe it's deflationary. So we're going to do a little more look at Caspa, and it's still cheap. I think it's like 16, 17 cents. I think it's been going up. But AVAX, much like Solana, I think is going to depend on Bitcoin. And much like Solana, I think AVAX is not going to really pop hard until Bitcoin does find some sort of equilibrium or Bitcoin gets incredibly bullish. I think if Bitcoin gets like super bullish, it's going to fuel the alt rally. But if Bitcoin's just kind of like indecisive, I think a lot of alts are going to remain in their current range. And that's pretty much where AVAX is right now. And the volatility on this is pretty low. It's low and going lower. So without volatility, of course, price is not really going to do that much in the way of movement, right? In the way of price movement. So let me take just a quick look at, I mean, it's high time frame volatile. So, it's going to move, but that might take like weeks, right? So for the moment, though, I do see it as staying in this range, just like Solana. But I do think, again, that it will head up in that same manner. And for nearer term targets, if I were trading, this is not a buy and hold scenario, more of a trade scenario. I would look at, for AVAX, maybe like $58. Maybe like 58, 68 is what I'm interested in Solana. So, all right, cool. We are at the end of the public live lab. Thank you all for coming. And please go over to algofactory.tech. Check us out. Let me see if I've got my QR code. A lot of my stuff kind of got erased off of here yesterday. So let me see if I can add on. Give me 1 second. What we do is we teach people how to trade. We teach them the basics, and we have some videos to help kind of, do the basics. And then what we do, and if you zap the QR code, oh, hold on. I think we have somebody. We have somebody here. I just allowed V the gorilla in. There he is. You're muted, V. V, you're muted, sir. There you go. Hello.
Hey. Hello.
Oh, we can hear you. You actually have a voice. You still have a voice.
Okay, we're in the Rumble Studio thing, huh?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got it fixed.
Jeez, how do you like it?
Fine. It's just like anything else. You gotta learn how to use it. But
what do you like better, this or StreamYard?
Well, I mean, from a functional aspect, I like this because I can actually broadcast live on Rumble without what do you call it?
Oh.
Without a you know, I don't have to do anything complex. I don't have to go to Rumble, set up a stream, and then like port it over to StreamYard. Like I could just start on Rumble and it goes everywhere, including
Nice.
Telegram.
Oh, that's fantastic, dude. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, the
I'm
trick is
gonna
going to
try it.
be the trick is leaving the YouTube stream and the Rumble stream and going strictly over to Telegram. That's where it's gonna. I might have to migrate over to StreamYard just for that, which is kind of a pain in the butt. In fact, that's probably something I'm going to set up right now while you're talking. So, you came in just in time to give us that gorilla send off, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, listen, I'm back. I've been out of commission for an entire week. Most miserable sickness I've ever had in my life. Honestly speaking, bro. I mean, I've never been kind of worried. I was actually kind of worried. Okay.
That's kind of extreme.
Never been concerned. Every time I got a call, I'm like, I'll just get over it. Dude, I was so bloody fatigued that I'm like, do I need to go to the hospital? You know, and then the strep throat hit me where I couldn't even talk. It was like somebody grabbed me by the throat, like Darth Vader used the force and like closed my throat. It was like that. And I didn't know what to do, man. It was a little touch and go there, a little scary. I'm like, you know what? I need to start taking my health a whole lot more serious. Like it's no joke.
Yeah, man, I've been trying to get you on the phone with my wife to get you fixed up. And
you know the biggest problem with me, it's like I need to slow down. I need to slow down. Like I'm overworked, man.
There's the slowdown factor, but also I think that if you take a good long look at everything that you are doing,
yeah,
right, and be willing to like say, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this. And I'm not talking about just work. Like there might be other things. You know, I'm
I
not,
agree with
like
you.
You're heroin addict. You got to drop the heroin, bro.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, I'm not a heroin addict, man.
Oh, you're not?
No, that's Hunter
I
Biden.
thought. Okay, so I was telling you about my heroin problem, and you just made that up to make me feel better. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's basically what I was just trying to show some solidarity that I understand.
Jackass. And now everybody knows.
Hey, did you cover Bitcoin?
I sure did.
Damn it. All right, good. Listen, guys, I'm back in the saddle. He's the cowboy. I'm the gorilla. We're going to the private room next Thursday. Look, I'm going to have some hot stuff for next Thursday's trip. Not this Thursday because I'm playing catch up this entire week. But next Thursday is going to be some hot, juicy drips, like an Italian beef sandwich drip, like dunked in au jus, Chicago style with the giardiniera. You know, if you know what I'm talking about, that kind of juicy drip next Thursday. So keep it locked and loaded. Cowboy, let's get into it.
Sure, yeah. And then he's talking about just while I'm actually setting up the studio here for StreamYard. You're talking about the private group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not, because we don't do drips on the public.
No, this is strictly, this is private.
Privat. No, that's something else. Privat means something else.
Yes, privat.
I'm gonna send you. Okay, so the only way we can do this other business is through StreamYard. So that's fine. I'll continue to use Rumble, but I am going to send you a separate invite. So we'll get off of this Rumble stream and we'll head over to StreamYard, but just give them that grill a send off and we'll move on.
Join us over in the private group, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be the only place where you're not only going to get the geostrategic, geoeconomic, and the trades and the technicals and teach you how to build the algorithms, but you're going to get real intelligence information that hedge funds count on. Real hedge funds, folks. And with that being said, Cowboy, let's get into it.